G'day YouTubers, I will preview this week's round of the AFL games. Before I start, it will be muchly appreciated if you can subscribe, comment and like. Every subscriber will be very much appreciated. Alright, let's get the show started. Let's go! Yeah! My pips after round 22 are, I selected the Swans to beat Collingwood. Phew, thank God the Swans won in the close one. I tipped the Lions to beat the Giants. No good. The Lions were leading by 30 points at quarter time and lost at home. I tipped the Kangaroos against West Coast. Damn it, not good. West Coast kicked 2 goals in the last 90 seconds to win the game. I tipped Dockers to beat Geelong. Fremantle had a slow start and Geelong were too good. No good. And I tipped the Bombers to beat the Suns. Also no good. What a terrible start. Big Mac took a mark with 20 seconds to play and kicked the goal after the siren. Well done, Big Mac, but not good for my words. I tipped the Power to beat the Demons. Yeah. I tipped the Hawks to beat the Blues. Yes, Hawthorn won by 60 plus points. Good one. I tipped the Saints to beat the Tigers. Yeah, the Saints won pretty easily. And the last game, I tipped the Woodies to beat the Crows. No good, the Crows were just too good. For this week, after round 22, I had tipped 4 out of 9 games correct. My total votes for season 2024 is 120. I hope I do better for round 23. My 3, 2, 1 for the Brownlow vote are in top spot with 31 votes is P. Cripps Carlton. In second spot with 29 votes is C. Sarong Fremantle. And 3 players tied in third spot with 28 votes are L. Neil Brisbane, Nick Dacos Collingwood and A. Trelaw Western Bulldogs. These are my 3, 2, 1 for the Brownlow votes after round 22. The first game for round 23 of this week is Essendon vs Sydney. The players in the mix for the Bombers are Wright, Tasassis and Hyde. For the Swans, their player in the mix are Francis, Laddams and Corey Warner. The players injured for the Dons are Goulfey, Ridley, Reid, Baldwin, Dersma and Cox to concussion. For the Swans, they will be missing Papley, Milliken and McInerney. If you compare the ruck midfield setup of both sides, for the Bombers you got Draper against Grundy. Grundy is a former All-Australian ruckman. Even though Draper kicked some goals last week, I expect Grundy to win in this position. Then you got Durham against Jordan. Jordan's a good inside hard mid tagger, so he'll be able to stop Durham. Say that's even between the two. Then you got the ball getter Parrish against Rowbottom. Both players are pretty similar, but Parrish gets more of the ball. Say Parrish just gets the chocolates of Jordan. I meant Rowbottom. Then you got Merritt against Chad Warner. Merritt is accumulator of the ball, but Chad Warner has more hurt factor, can kick goals, good passer, can go inside, outside. Give the chocolates to Warner. Then you got Caldwell against Gordon. Gordon, one of the best kickers in the league. I expect Gordon to dominate over Caldwell. Looking at the ruck midfield setup, Sydney has a advantage in this position. Sydney have been losing a lot of games recently, but had a good win last week against Collingwood, and I'm going to tip the Swans to win this game. The second game of the week is between Gold Coast and Melbourne. The players in the mix for Gold Coast are Jeffrey, Vironi and Atkins. For Melbourne, their players in the mix are McAdam, Jefferson and Hunter. The players injured for Gold Coast are Ainsworth, Miller, Casbolt and Tasassis. For the Demons, they'll be missing Windsor, Spargo, Petrarca and May. If you compare the ruck midfield setup on both sides, you got Witz against Gord. Gord, one of the best ruckmans in the league. Witz is a tall 206cm ruckman. I give the chocolates to Gord. Then you got Anderson against Oliver. Both pretty similar type of players, but Oliver is more inside extractor and Anderson a great outside player. Say I'll give the chocolates to Anderson. Then you got Rao against Whining. Both inside midfield ball, but Rao gets more contested possession, so I just give the chocolates to Rao. Then you got Closely and Rivers. That's pretty even between those two players. And then you got Flanders against Sparrow. Again, that's pretty even. Flanders is a very high accumulator ball, and he did kick a couple goals last week against the Bombers. Look at the ruck midfield setup. I just give the chocolates to Gold Coast. And given that the game is playing Gold Coast and Melbourne's been losing plenty of games recently, I'm going to tip the Suns to win this game. The next game of the week is between GWS and Fremantle. The players in the mix for the Giants are Alier and Briggs. The players in the mix for the Dockers are Darcy, Erasmus and Aish. The players injured for the Giants are Bae, Riccardi, Cogniglio, Cummings, Bruce and Ralston. The players injured for Rio are Pearce, McDonald, Corbett and Walters. If you compare the ruck midfield setup of both sides, the two ruckmans returning back from injury, assuming that they're both back, you got Briggs against Darcy. Briggs is a good ruckman, so is Darcy, but I would give the chocolates to Darcy because they've got rotation for Jackson as his backup. Say we give the chocolates to Darcy because they can outwork Briggs, the 2-3-0 ruckmans. Then you got Tom Green against Young. Tom Green, midfield bull, who extracts a ball, big body, tall mid against Young, one of the best kickers in the mid. Say give the chocolates to Tom Green. Then you got Kelly against Sarong. Kelly finds the ball a lot on the outside, can run all day. So is Sarong, but Sarong has been very good recently, and he kicked a couple goals and had lots of possession in a loss to Geelong last week. Say give the chocolates to Sarong. Then got Ward against Brayshaw. Ward is a hard inside mid. Brayshaw can go inside but is more outside. Say we just give the chocolates to Brayshaw because he can run all day. And they got young Callaghan against Amira. Amira is a good experience. Callaghan is going to be a top superstar in the coming future. Say that's even between those two. Look at the ruck midfield setup. I give the chocolates to the Giants. They've got an awesome ruck midfield setup. And given that the game is played away, the Giants had a magnificent win against the Lions. Fremantle were disappointed against Geelong last week at home. I'm going to tip the Giants to win this game. The next game is between Collingwood and Brisbane. Collingwood were unfortunate to lose to the Swans last week after leading by 30+ points. The Lions also had an unfortunate loss. They were leading by 5 goals at quarter time against the Giants, and the Giants beat the Lions at the Gabba. The players in the mix for the Magpies are Allen, McRae and Damata. For the Lions, their players in the mix are Lyons and Robinson. The players injured for the Maggies are Degoe, Harrison, Mychek and Mitchell. The players injured for the Lions are Payne, Garda, McCarthy, Coleman and Dode. If you compare their ruck midfield setup on both sides, for Collingwood you got Cameron against McInerney. Cameron is a good ruckman, but McInerney is a good tap ruckman and can also kick goals. We'll just give the chocolates to McInerney. Then you got N. Dacos against McCluggage. Nick Dacos, one of the best players in the league right now. McCluggage, good inside but more outside midfielder. Say give the chocolates to N. Dacos. Then you got Josh Dacos against Neil. Neil, one of the best midfielders in the league, and he's kicking goals as well. Give the chocolates to Neil over Jay Dacos. Then you got Cripps against Dunkley. Cripps is a good solid player. Dunkley, premiership player for the Bulldogs, inside extractor. Give the chocolates to Dunkley. Then you got the great Pendlebury against Jared Berry. Pendlebury, one of the best footy minds or IQ player out there against Berry, who finds the ball a lot on the outside. So just give the chocolates to Pendlebury. Look at the ruck midfield setup. I would favour the Brisbane Lions setup, and the Lions had a disappointing loss to the Giants at home last week, so they would be dirty about that loss. Also, Collingwood had a close loss against the Swans, so they'll be disappointed for that. Based on the ruck midfield setup and Brisbane's, I'm going to tip the Lions to win this game. The next game of the week is between St Kilda and Geelong. The players in the mix for the Saints are Dow and Patton. The players in the mix for the Cats are Neville, Hardy, Rod and Duncan. The players injured for the Saints are Ross, Crouch, King, Manus and Henry. The Cats will be missing Guthrie, Hawkins, DeConning and Bruin. If you compare the ruck midfield setup of both sides, you've got Marshall against Stanley. Stanley, ex-St Kilda player. I expect Marshall to dominate in ruck for the Saints against Stanley, and also Marshall can contribute a lot around the ground. Then you got Philippou against Holmes. Philippou, tall midfield. Holmes, very quick with his speed. I expect Holmes to get chocolates over young Philippou. Then you got Hill against Dempsey. Hill is good on the outside, can run all day. Very good endurance and also pretty decent inside against young Dempsey. Say we give the chocolates to Hill. Then you got the captain Steele against Stewart. Stewart, what a revelation he's been in midfield since he's been placed into midfield. Geelong's been winning plenty of games. Steele, one of the hard nuts midfielders out there, gets a lot of tested possession. Say that's even between those two. Then you got Clark against Dangerfield. I expect Dangerfield to dominate against Clark, even though Dangerfield is not the Dangerfield from 5 years ago, but it's still quite a lot of spark for the Geelong midfield. Look at the ruck midfield setup. I give the advantage to the Geelong ruck midfield setup. And based on this, I'm going to tip the Cats to win because they've got top 4, even top 2 to play for. The next game of the week is the showdown between the Power and the Crows. The players in the mix for the Power are Williams and Lord. For the Crows, their players in the mix are Borlace and Smith. The players injured for the Power are Marshall, Solo, Finlayson. The players injured for the Crows are Butts, Parnell, Heather, Miller. If you compare the ruck midfield set for both sides, you got Sweet against O'Brien. I expect O'Brien to win the hit-outs against Sweet, but hit-outs advantage, the Crows have been struggling in that position. So when the ball hits the ground, it will be even, with, especially with Port elite midfielders. Then you got Butters against Dawson. Dawson, one of the best kickers in the league. Butters is very good on the outside. Say that's even between those two. Then you got Rosie, the captain, against Laird. Laird, honest inside mid, but Rosie, inside, outside class. I expect Rosie to dominate against Laird. Then you got Wise against Solidigo. Wise, midfield, inside bull against Solidigo, who's pretty good inside, but more outside. Say that's even between those two. Then you got young William Drew. Well, he's not young anymore, but Drew against young Barry. Both similar type of players. Inside midfield bull. Drew has more experience, and I expect Drew to get the chocolates over Barry. Looking at the ruck midfield setup on both sides, I expect the Power ruck midfield to dominate or get the chocolates over the Crows. Given that the Power's got top two to play for, and the Crows have won the last 3 showdowns, I'm going to tip the Power to win this game. The next game of the week is between the Bulldogs and the Kangaroos. The players in the mix for the Doggies are Keith, Sanders, Baker. For the Kangaroos, their players in the mix are Dawson and Wardlaw. The players injured for the Doggies are Johannesson, Smith and Croft. The Roos will be missing Stevenson, Goda, Common Jones, George and Lowe. If you compare the ruck midfield set on both sides, you got English against Xeri. My opinion, I think Xeri will be well deserved to be picked in the All-Australian side, and that's how much I rate him. And he's doing well, very well, and I expect Xeri to get the chocolates over English. Then you got the Bont against David Juniaki. The Bontempelli. What an inside midfield can go. Kick goals, extracts a ball. Tall, big body mid. David Juniaki also extracts the midfield. Extracts the ball. But I'll give the chocolates to the Bont over David Juniaki, who's been doing well with LDU. Then you got Trelaw against Simpkin. Trelaw can go inside, outside against Captain Simpkin. And I've also got Trelaw in my top 5 in Brownlow. So I expect Trelaw to do well against Simpkin. Then you got inside hard midfield Liberatore against Shizu. Young, great player. Gets a lot of possession. Great elite kicker. Goal assist. Can kick goals very accurate. I give the chocolates to Shizu over Liberatore. Then you got Poulter against Powell. Both players are pretty similar. Looking at the ruck midfield setup, I'll give the advantage to the Western Bulldogs ruck midfield setup. The Bulldogs are in good form. North Melbourne's been doing reasonably well, losing close games. They lost against West Coast last week and conceded 2 goals in the last minute. Based on the Bulldogs' experience, and they've got more to play for, I'm going to tip the Bulldogs to win this game. The second last game of this week is between Hawthorn and the Tigers. The players in the mix for Hawthorn are Harsway, Mitchell and McKenzie. For the Tigers, their players in the mix are Sonzi, Blight and Cumberland. The players injured for the Hawks are Blunt, Butler and Lewis. The players injured for the Tigers are Lynch, Green, Gipkus, LeFou and Grimes. If you compare the ruck midfield set on both sides, for the Hawks you got Meek in ruck and Richmond you got Nankervis. It's pretty even between those two ruckmen. Then you got Newcombe against Taranto. Newcombe, good inside mid, can kick goals here and there. Taranto, outside midfield, can get the ball inside. Just give the chocolates to Taranto. Then you got Nash against Prestia. Prestia, a veteran of this league, so I expect Nash to get the chocolates over Prestia. Then you got Dylan Moore, who's been kicking goals but has spent some time in the middle, against Banks. I expect Moore to dominate against Banks. And you got Weddle against Hopper. Hopper, experience inside ball midfield. I just give the chocolates to Hopper over Weddle. But looking at the ruck midfield setup, it's pretty even, but just give the chocolates to Hawthorn. And given where the position Richmond are, they're in rebuilding mode, a lot of injuries, playing young players. Hawks are trying to play for finals. I'm going to tip the Hawks to win this game. The last game of this week is between West Coast and Houghton. The players in the mix for the Eagles are Cully, Cocelli, Barras. The Blues players in the mix are Durham and Binns. The players injured for the Eagles are Edwards, Brockman, Hewitt and Long. The Blues will be missing Cunningham, DeConning, Durden, Sarah, Kocher and Dougherty. If you compare the ruck midfield set on both sides, you got Williams for West Coast against Picknott. Williams is more athletic, but I expect Picknott to win more of the hit-outs, so I'll give the chocolates to Picknett. Then you got Kelly against Cripps. Kelly, good outside player. Cripps, top 10 player of the league, hard inside midfield ball, so I'll give the chocolates to Cripps. Then you got Yo against Kennedy. Yo is more outside run against Kennedy, who's more inside, so I'll just give the chocolates to Yo. And then you got young superstar in the making, Reed against Hewitt. Hewitt, recruit from Sydney. It's more a goal kicker than the midfield, but Count's got a number of injuries, so I'll give the chocolates to Reed over Hewitt. Then you got Durwar against Walsh. Durwar's a young new player who's been playing games under Schofield against Walsh. Hot midfielder, he can run all day, sets up goals, great inside player. So I'll definitely give the chocolates for Walsh against young Diva. Looking at the ruck midfield setup, I'll give the chocolates to Carlton. And based on this, Carlton will have enough inside 50 to supply enough full entries. Based on this, I'm going to tip Carlton to win this game. My tips for this week's games are the Swans over the Bombers, the Suns to beat the D's, the Giants to beat the Dockers, Lions to beat Collingwood, the Cats to beat the Saints, the Power to win the showdown, the Bulldogs to beat the Kangaroos, the Hawks to beat the Tigers, and Carlton to beat Eagles. Thank you for watching my show. It would be much appreciated if you can subscribe, comment and like. Every subscriber will be much appreciated. Hope to hear from you or see from you from next time. See ya!